firm started in 1977, obviously off the vision of Terry Lawler, and grew quite quickly into the 80s, where late 80s, we took on a Maitland location. And at that time, the team was continuing to grow. We only occupied a third to 40% of it, in terms of what the actual building facilities were. But it said to me that we were going places, right? So it was sort of build it and they will come sort of concept, where it was very much about how do we sort of position as a solid organisation, both then from attracting people, but more importantly, attracting clients.
Well, in 1984 when I started, it was very different to what it is today, but we were very traditional. I remember I had a three-piece suit in those days, and I wore a tie every day. So now it's dress for occasion. We live in a warm country. That's very different. The interaction with the partners, with the staff, often the partners were right up there, they operated in their own private office and you didn't necessarily see them. Well, I now sit in amongst the whole team, no office, in an open plan, which I think is great.
One thing that sort of resonated with me, I guess, from the early days was there was a really solid work ethic, so unquestionably we worked hard. But the variety of what we'd done sort of changed, I guess, my view on what accounting might be about. And more importantly, as much as they worked hard, what I observed was just a really good fun, have a play when the work's done, a real camaraderie amongst the people. And I think above all, just that sense of it wasn't just about the bottom line dollar. When I started in '89, we were a firm of about 20 to 25 people, a couple of partners. The team was continuing to grow. That continued to really grow out into sort of the late 90s, at which time we had about 150 people.
My early experience here was very much a firm that had great ambitions, was on the move, and really was looking to build a team and a capability that was seeking to grow and to expand. But I think no matter how big we get here, we're very protective of our founding culture and our founding principles and values, and we want to grow in a way that sustains that and respects where we came from.
The firm started with two partners who were traditional compliance type accountants. But as we grew and our clients grew, we realised that we needed to add a whole bunch of services that they required, and we didn't really want them going elsewhere.
Well, growth right across the business, so very much geographical expansion. Our Sydney practice was, embryonic, probably at that stage, but now is a very, very significant business in the mid-tier market in Sydney, and I think really over time a consolidation of our place here in Newcastle as well. Being the largest professional services firm here in the Hunter.
The partners that were here, particularly Terry early on, he was very much an entrepreneur, right? And we needed to do new things, better things all of the time. So I think he helped with that mindset. And I think we've always believed that to service our clients, we need to be able to be cutting edge, right? And be across all of those things.
We had some innovative clients, we still do, and as a client need, emerges or eventuates, you can either do nothing, wish them well, try and refer them to someone, or sit there and go, well, hang on, should we go into this space also? So I think our capabilities, it comes back to our values and what we're here to do, and it's to help, well, I say small and medium enterprise, but also large businesses reach their goals. And the more we can help out, the better that is. But we own that trusted relationship, and that's something we really respect and value too. It's not something we take lightly. So within that, if we can add more capabilities around the relationship, it makes sense. It's a win-win for all.
The way that we achieve that growth is hundreds of individual growth stories every day inside the business comprising our people. We have an amazing group of people that are looking to turn up every day, innovate, create, look at doing things a different way, and never really will tolerate doing things today the same way they did them yesterday. And I think through that culture, we naturally have grown over time just by virtue of our mindset, our ideology, and really growing with our clients.
The early 2000s were, we were really sort of hitting our straps in a growth perspective. We'd gone into Sydney in terms of out of the Hunter and a location in Sydney. In mid-2000s, we entered into a merger with Virus & Bell, which were a firm based out of Sydney that had a mix of advisory and insolvency. And that was a great move for us in the sense that, one, they were a firm very culturally aligned with the way we did things, and their work ethic and play hard very much suited our style.
So 2006, I was a partner in a firm called Virus & Bell. There was 24 of us in O'Connell Street in Sydney, and we'd known the people from Lawler Partners in Newcastle for some time, and they had a presence in Sydney. And after a lot of discussions and back and forth, we eventually merged with Lawler Partners on the 1st of September 2006.
We quickly became part of the Lawler team, and they also embraced some of the things that the old Virus & Bell team brought to the table, which was really good. And you just had a feeling that, gee, there's some really good people here. This is a really good firm to be at.
They were very people focused. They're a large firm, but they're not excited about being the biggest or the most aggressive firm. It was about building people, working with their clients closely and being part of the client journey. It's very much a family thing for us with our clients, and Lawler's had come from very humble beginnings in 1977 to have a firm of I think 110 people up here at the time, and had done that with fantastic roots to the community and the region up here, as well as the business community and people.
The culture back then was very innovative, inclusive, and as we continue to grow, I think that just continues to grow with the firm.
To me, it has always been and always will be about the people, and then on the other side of that, there are clients, and plenty of them that have been here through the entire journey and before, and there are people that refer us work that were here 20 years ago. So that says something, one, about the quality of our work, but also importantly the quality of our people.
It was very much at the heart of Terry and the other partners at that time that we do support the communities in which we operate. And so the breast care breakfast came around because sadly one of the partners at the time, Ray Tolcher, his wife Christine sadly lost her battle with breast cancer. And so it was something that Terry wanted to do to kickstart.
It's a breakfast that's always sold out. As I said, it's someone's been affected somewhere, and it's not necessarily a great reason for why you have to get behind it. But some of the good things we're doing with it has been nothing short of amazing, and it's hopefully we're doing more than just that donation and making positive change and improving people's lives.
I think that was a nice legacy for Terry's succession, when he stood back in late 2009 to pass the reins over to myself. It was sort of a monumental moment in many ways for the firm. It was the founding partner back from 1977 handing over the baton to this young fella coming through in 2010. So that sort of journey of that first 30 odd years was now time for the next evolution of the organisation. The Newcastle premises had always been a good location for us, which is where we still are here today. But fair to say, it was an old bank building, so it was sort of locked down in many respects, not too many windows other than Hunter Street, the big vault at the back, 3-inch doors to get through. So we set about that development. It just meant a whole new environment. It was an open work plan. No partners have offices, and that's still what it is today here in Newcastle. And so I think it was all part of that 2010 to 20 culture of going, what's our next stage for the organisation? And so the premises played a big part, I think, in just giving people like a lift for those that have been with us for a while. It started to help attract people to come and join us. And what we found was that whole ethos of collaboration really was able to play out in a true sense of the word because we're all out in the open together.
2012 we were approached by PKF, who had lost their firms on the eastern seaboard in a bit of a changing of the guard in the mid-tier of accounting, and they wanted us to rebrand as PKF and join that international group. We thought that was a good idea. We had made affiliations in other states of Australia, and to be able to join that level of mid-tier group was very attractive to us. So we did that and became PKF Lawler for a year, and after that we dropped the Lawler name, even though we don't forget Terry's contribution to the firm. He's still very much part of us, and became PKF in 2013.
At the time, Lawler had grown beyond Newcastle, obviously with our Sydney office, but even beyond Sydney. By that stage, we'd had presence in Perth, Melbourne, Tamworth, Brisbane, and obviously looking to grow further. But the international aspect, and you'd be surprised, even here in Newcastle, how many businesses from, SMEs to large businesses, there's some heavy hitters up here, and the needs of international or globalisation, as we put it, requirements were growing and still are. So I guess that was a big driver.
We had that bigger engine room behind us. PKF then gave us that extra gravitas with a national and international presence.
Yeah, really interesting journey. I think for us, like we've done always, is we don't go into things half-hearted. So in going into that, we now have representation on the international board. We have the head of the quality standards sits here out of Newcastle. We have representation on the Asia Pacific boards. So it's been a good journey, but like everything, we've invested in it heavily to get it to what it is today.
Our growth has always been balanced, I guess, by, again, that adherence to the really basic, fundamental, true values of the firm, which is you never sell something to a client for the sake of selling something to a client. There's got to be a need that thing is meeting. And that then translates into, we're not setting growth targets just for the sake of setting growth targets. We're not, hitting a new revenue number that we need to meet at all costs. We're there to meet needs for clients. It means that the growth comes somewhat organically, I suppose. And in a really, again, it's not just rhetoric around, let's grow, let's get bigger, let's get better. We get bigger and we get better, and the growth comes alongside that.
We very much value our people, and we do our best with them to train them, to make them part of the firm. The way the world is today, we have people from all sorts of cultures. We have secondments coming from overseas PKF firms. We have a real mix of people, so we're very careful to make sure they're included.
When I applied for the role, I was in Canberra. During the interview, I had a good experience. Like at the end of the interview, I was asked, how can we support you? And I thought, that's a very good question, because nobody has asked me during interviews. It looks like everyone needs something from us, but this is the first time somebody has asked, how can we support you?
PKF, we're very well positioned. I think that the work we've done over the last sort of few years around recognising that behind every business is a family, and packaging up how we might service that family unit at large around what their goals and aspirations are. I think in our bread and butter sweet spot, we're really sort of positioned well.
We're always looking at what do we need to be doing for our clients. So it's not just, okay, we've got good offerings now. What else can we do to make our clients' lives better?
Calling it an accounting and advisory firm these days is probably a bit undermining, I guess. We do so many things from human resources to marketing, for clients, to strategy and advisory boards, etc. Accounting's one small piece, if we're honest.
So I think that forward thinking into what else could we be doing, and it's a question we constantly ask ourselves, what else? that helps with the longevity of a business. It helps them be relevant in today. And yeah, it just makes sure that we're supporting our clients as much as possible. So I think the future's pretty bright.
I don't know why it still surprises me, but you see a press release from PKF, you know, something cool that we've done, or, you know, you hear about things that other divisions are doing. You watch someone in your own team come up with a great idea and implement it and get a great result for a client. And it just makes you think, yeah, we're the real deal, you know, we're not some kind of backyard player from a sleepy small town. Like we're in this and we're good at what we do, and what we're doing matters.
Our people, well, the people that come to work here, they're incredibly intelligent. They've done well in high school, they've gone to university, they've done postgraduate qualifications. These are people that can go anywhere they like and get a job wherever they like, whenever they want, however they choose to work here. And that is a privilege.
I mean, I see what some of our talent are doing these days, and you know, hopefully with our help, but what they're able to achieve, their rate of progress is amazing. It's quite inspiring, to be honest.
I don't think there's a firm around that actually invests in their people as much as we do here. You have to care about your clients, your team members, the business. That care factor is what drives me. So I really care about my clients. I want to see them progress and do well and grow. I care about my team. I want to see my guys progress up into their careers.
They really want to give back to the employees. So it's not just extracting work out of them, but they really want, and they see futures in them, and they see leaders in them.
They give us opportunity to come out with how we want to grow. We can define our own paths, in what kind of trainings do we want client exposure, and they would create those pathways.
As a firm, I think we're really good at identifying what people are good at, what they love to do, and you know, those two things in combination tend to mean a great result for our clients. And so we're good at making space for that. So if someone's got a new idea, or if you know they want to open a new service line, you know, the firm's supportive of that, makes the investment in the person and the resources to make that happen.
It's a pretty amazing story that there's so many people here after such a long length of time. It's unusual these days to have people working for a long time in businesses. I guess that tells a lot about the story of the place, is that you get here and you don't really want to leave because it's a good place to be.
I'm proud, I suppose, to be a member of the firm, to see how it's grown from where it started to where it is now, and proud, of how we treat employees and how we we look out for people, not just doing the work. We're looking out for people and making sure that that's all good.
While we don't look at growth for the growth's sake, we do look at the advantages we have in being where we are, look at the other firms around our level, around Australia, and what they're doing, and make sure we're doing things as best we can. And particularly using technology, making sure we stay close to our clients, helping them wherever we can, and keeping that culture of being family business accountants is very important to us.
Yes, we're branded PKF, but we are still that local firm on the ground that started in 1977. The branding's changed, technology's changed for the better. We've had some new people come in for the better, and we've also got some people that are still here that carry through the way we were at Lawler, that local presence. And it's very, very important.
Today we're over 300 people. We can't see that slowing at the moment, and I'm very focused on what the future might hold for something that's been a really good journey for the Lawler brand that's ultimately become what is today PKF.